Let's check out the RGBLink Mini ISO. Included with the RGBLink Mini ISO is the unit itself, your power cable, and your power adapter, which will go on the back here. We'll end up plugging that in right there. They come with a USB 3.0 to 3.0A cable. This cable will come in handy that it comes with. It is a splitter for a headphone and a microphone jack with a 3-pin 3.5 millimeter jack cable on it that will actually end up plugging in on the headphone jack right here, where you can see the icon has a headphone jack with a microphone component to it. This will let you split that signal. Let's take a look real quick. On the back, we're going to actually take a look, and you'll see that we have a multi-view out, and we have HDMI in 1 through 4, and the power switch and the power input. You can see what they did here with the HDMI inputs. They had labeled them upside down and right side up, depending on what you're looking at it. So you'll always be able to read it at a quick glance. On the left-hand side of this unit, these are your SDI inputs. On the right-hand side, you can see they have your audio input, your stream control, your record control, your webcam, and your program. Flip over to show you this multi-view, and we'll go through this a little bit more. What you're looking at is the multi-view, which is pretty much a mirrored image of the LCD touch panel on the unit itself. And what that actually is letting you do is kind of output to a larger monitor if you wanted to have a multi-view out. Sometimes producers or directors want to be able to see what you're switching, or maybe you just are in a use case where you need something bigger to look at. The one disadvantage that I'm finding is that when you access the menu on the touch screen, it doesn't actually display on your multi-view. So you have to look at the physical unit here to see that. But you can see on the screen, I am highlighting certain cameras, and they're highlighting on there. It's letting you know that what's in program and what's in preview. We'll talk a little bit about some of the buttons on here. Some of them are multifunctional. So you have a turn knob here, which is usually when you enter your menu mode. You have this toggling PTZ controller, which also will let you sift through menu options. You have the traditional T-bar, which lets you crossfade between your sources. You can see it's putting preview and program. You'll see when you were in your a preview program mode, your A button will line up, because it's pretty much a straight pass-through streaming unit with just your program buttons being fed out to the world. But if you want to have something in preview, you can see that the buttons are corresponding with what I'm pushing. You'll see that the A layer is flashing, and that's just letting you know that there's a layered effect going on. B is a secondary layer effect, which we'll get into at a later video. but it's basically letting you put graphics and other combination things on there. The button here that is illuminated is a stream button that when you press that, you can see your on-air activate. It's flashing right now because I'm not connected to the network anywhere, and it's not able to stream anywhere. The S button is a shortcut right to your record. You can see I don't have a disk in there. Again, see, menu stuff is appearing here, but not on my multi-view. So you can see that the menu also will go away. It looks like it's also now toggleable with the features. So you can see it defaults going straight to your record first. So you can hit your record button and then it'll actually start rolling. Your record will illuminate on the screen and your counter will start. You can choose what your format is. You can see there's a bunch of options to choose from. If you go to stream, you have to activate your stream, and that'll actually see this light up again, and you can see your on-air button flashing again, and that's letting you know that you don't have a solid connection for your stream. But you can set your bit rate. You can also set your mode, and that actually is a feature that interested me quite a bit with the specific RGBLink mini ISO, because you can go from horizontal to vertical. The one disadvantage I'm finding with this at the moment is that if you have a horizontal input on the switcher, it's going to squeeze it and push it out that way, as opposed to cropping it off and sending it out. So this is really ideal for if your inputs are already in a horizontal fashion. That's something I'm hoping that they have in a future firmware update, where you can select whether it squeezes or crops, because I think there is a large use case of people out there who actually will want to stream to a TikTok platform, but also maybe stream to Facebook or YouTube and use that same horizontal, but use your camera framing essentially, instead of actually worried about that. The next menu we have is back down to record. You can see that there's a scroll feature by dragging on the screen. You would have our USB capture. So I actually don't necessarily know what this means. You have TP or you have PG. I will have to look into seeing what that is actually about. So that is your main menu for your first shortcut. When you tap it again, it allows you to look at your effects. And these are transition effects. So when you're transferring from one to another, it's going to give you either a crossfade or a straight cut. They have all the standard cuts that you would find in just about any production switcher. They have the blinds or the split from the middle and things like that. So those are some of the fun features. You press that again and it goes back to that record function. The main button that you'll probably be using a lot on this once you get going is your home button, which is your menu button. It's shaped in like a little house. This will again first let you go to your format outputs, your streams, your record, your USB capture. You press it again. Here is where you'll have basically a bottom row that is 2 menus long. You swipe back and forth. Your first is your input. You have your audio, you have output, you have your views, which are going to be like shortcuts or scene actions, and those are multi-purposed as well. You scroll over and then you have your effects, like we saw earlier. You have your key. You can do chroma key. It's currently defaulting at green or blue as your key options. You have to activate it. You can choose your colors. You can change the ratio and the numbers on those to key your stuff in. And then you have a PTZ camera control system. The nice thing about this that also really got me interested in this switcher is the fact that there is a PTZ camera control on this unit. You have your pan, tilt, zoom here. You can actually see on the screen a little bit. You can see this menu jumping around, tilting left or right, going up and down. I'll do another future video on this. And then you have your zoom controls, which will let you zoom in and zoom out with a PTZ camera plugged right into the device. I have tested this a little bit with plugging a PTZ camera from the camera itself directly into the network jack. The disadvantage of that is you can no longer stream through RMPT that way. But there is also ways to get multiple cameras streamed into the RGBLink, so you can control multiple cameras just like you would with an external joystick. I think it's great for it being in a pinch. I think in my use case scenarios, I would be more willing to have my wide shot camera controlled with this, so I can make some minor adjustments if I need to. But in a multi-camera PTZ setup, I would probably have a separate joystick just that has that control for the camera. You can see down here, you're seeing what camera input your PTZ is on. You assign the IP addresses and your port numbers, all that fun stuff. If you use this little dial here, you can actually see the numbers go back. It'll just keep tilting along to everything. You have your focus controls, your zoom in and out. You have your speed control, which goes from, I think, 0 to 17, 1, which is really great. It lets you handle that quite a bit. So, and then the final option on this is your settings. And this is your language, your device version that you are on, the Tau Cloud link, which is essentially an app based. It's part of the cloud, so you got to be connected to the internet. But it'll let you stream multiple platforms at the same time. There's some other settings in there, and there's a virtual controller for your RGBLink Mini ISO. Your IP setting for your device, you can set it DHCP, or you can manually set it time setting. You have automatic, you can set your time zone, you can set your dates. You have your fan speed, which is either auto or on all the time. You have T-bar correction, so this will let you kind of recalibrate your T-bar. Your keying test, you have your update button. You have to, again, be connected to the internet to see the updates actually work. And then you have a reset function. At some point in time, if a new firmware release comes out, I will do that, do a walkthrough on that too. We can go back now into inputs, outputs. We talked about our audio. This will let you activate, turn on your audio, whether you want to mix it or if you want to do AFV, which is audio follows video, or you want to just keep those inputs off altogether. So in a lot of cases, you're maybe pulling sound from an audio mixer or a single source, and you want to turn the devices, your cameras, things like that, you want to turn those sound off, and that's the easiest way to do that, is to just set those up in advance. And then you see you have mics 1, 2, and 3. You have the ability to put a USB microphone on here as well as a camera. As you noticed, you had 4 SDI and 4 HDMI on this, and you can only use one or the other at a time. So you could put 3 SDI cameras on and 1 HDMI computer on. You'll have to select which input you want to have as what kind of source. But you'll notice that you have buttons 1 through 4 and then a 5th button. This 5th button will allow you to do a few different things, and we'll actually get into that here right now. Let's go inputs. input 5. So it lets you utilize NDI technology. A lot of cameras are NDI, or you can do NDI stream bridge on computers to pull in a video source from a network. But essentially you got to have a router of some sort and a managed network switch, and then another NDI device, and that'll let you use NDI. UVC is a webcam function mode. You can also set up to use media files off of an external hard drive, I believe. Webcams are an option that I've seen used a lot. So you just click on it, you activate your circle, and then you'll see input 5, which you do have in the multi-view. If we go here, exit out of here, you can see there's a fifth monitor screen down here that is active in red right now because it's selected, and that lets you actually select what's going on there. You can select one, and now it's asking you if you want HDMI or SDI as your input, and each one of these inputs has that option on it. You just select which one is there. It may or may not auto-populate depending on it receiving a video signal, so you might be lucky on that. Background is something I haven't messed with yet, so I don't necessarily know what all is involved with background. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll have to do some research on what background is. And then you have the ability to put a logo in as well, and I believe that's just something for like a corner bug or a media player. I'll have to look into that a little bit. Views is basically a option for additional layers or shortcuts or scenes. I believe you can set something up with like a B layer, and if you have a graphic, or you want to do a lower third, or if you want to do something similar to this picture-in-picture, you have the ability to bring a photo in and key those kind of things in with a push of the button. And you can see now B is blinking as a layer. RGB did send me this product for review. If you like this product, want to learn more, or watch me use it in the field, hit like and subscribe and follow along. See you on the next video.